So again, welcome students. In the earlier slides, I taught you till the second stage of the composition, and that was working age, which belongs to 15 to 59 years. And then comes the third important age, that is above 59 years. And this age group is a retired workforce. However, they may be economically productive if they work voluntarily. In many developed countries, after retirement, people used to work, just for example in Japan or America. But in India, there is no scenario of retired person except few re-employment scheme in government services. So the proportion of people in this age group by and large increases as a population of a country completes its demographic evolution. So we can say that children and aged affect the dependency ratio as they are not economically productive. So this is the conclusion of the demographic feature. Okay, and the age composition of Indian population, when we are talking about the Indian population, is as follows. That is, children constitutes 34.4% of total population. Adults, that is working population, constitutes of 58.7%, nearly 60% of the total population. And aged population constitutes 6.9% of the total population. Here we can distinguish with developed and developing countries, because in developed countries, aged people are more in the pyramid structure. Okay, so when we talk about the population composition, the age composition is important, because the age composition refers to the number of people that are included in different age groups. Three basic determinants of age composition are nationality, that is इसको हम लोग हिंदी में वंशानुगत कहते हैं, किसी एक तरह के वर्ग के लोग रहते हैं, mortality मरणांक, and mobility जिसको बाद में माइग्रेशन का रूप दिया जाता है. And these are interdependent and any change in one may influence the other two. So it is through these variables that our socio-economic conditions influence the age structure, and it is the fertility rate that determines the proportion of population in different age categories. So students, that is why most of the countries in Asia, excluding Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong and South Korea, we have to exclude these countries, and including India, Latin America and Africa have high fertility. So we must learn here that most of the countries in Asia, Latin America and Africa have high fertility. Since the longevity and life expectancy in these countries is short, the proportion of population in the old age group is also very large. So when we talk about the size and distribution, then in terms of area, India stands 7th, preceded by Russia, Canada, China, United States and America, Brazil and Australia. Bearing China, the total population of these large 5 countries is far less than that of India. So the total area of these 5 countries is over 16 times, whereas their total population is much less than that of India. So students, it can also be revealed from the fact that the total population of North America, and very carefully listen, total population of North America, South America and Australia added together is less than the population of our India. And this you might heard many times with the mouth of our Prime Minister Modi. He used to say this. And on the top of it, we are adding over 17 million people each year. So this is the structure of global population and contribution of Indian population. So it is more than the total population of Australia. So let us talk about the population growth story in terms of past, present and future. So students, you can see when we talk about the world population growth through history, we see that when people started to cultivate food through agriculture some 12,000 years ago, the estimated world population was no more than 5 million. यानी 50 लाख से अधिक जनसंख्या नहीं था 12,000 वर्ष पूर्व एक कल्पना के तौर पर एस्टिमेट किया गया है. एंड द वर्ल्ड एंटर्ड द 21st सेंचुरी with almost 6.1 billion people, जिसको कि हम वो 7.1 billion 2020 में बता रहे हैं. So this translated to 7.8 billion in 2020. So this is the growth story of population. We can see by this graph, you can see that throughout the history, there was no population growth, and population begins after 18th century. You can see sharp increase in the population after 18th century, from where industrial revolution begins and economic development story begins. So due to economic development, population growth is also a part of the story. And you can see in this graph, I will send you in how population growth was seen in this graph, that in one AC there was only 250 million people, and in 2000 there was 6.90 million people, and projected is 9 billion people. So this is how you can see in the term of estimated annual increase in the inventory period growth of the story. You can see in the this is 2.9 in 90s, 70s, the highest population was there in the world, and later on decline was there, but still population is growing in many parts of the world. So you can see this is very interesting, that first billion was all of human histories till 1800, and the second billion was only within 130 years up to 1930, and the third billion was only in 30 years up to 1960, and the fourth billion was only in 15 years, that is 1975, and the fifth billion population was only in 12 years, that is in 1987, and again the sixth billion was again in 12 years. Stagnation is there in 1999, and then again declining of population is there, but still population is growing. 7th billion is in 14 years, and 5th and 8th billion is in 14 years expected, and 9th billion is projected in 21 years. So this is how world population growth in billions you can see by this graph, and also by this trend diagram, which I will send you, dear students. So this is how this topic deals, that you have to understand about the meaning of population growth, composition and distribution of the population. And while distribution, we can see that the distribution is more and less developed countries distinguish itself. In less developed countries, the more population is there, and more developed countries, the less population is there. So you have to deal with the story of developed and developing countries as well while dealing with this topic. Okay, so within country also this story is there, that in South India there are less population, and North India there are more population. Okay, and this is trend diagram of the worldwide, slightly lowering, but still growth is there. Okay, so let's talk about the distribution. You can see in 5000 BC, there is a green one, only the settlement is in this part of area, no development. 81, little development in agriculture, so more green area, settlement area is there. 1500, again more developed area is there, because again agriculture begins and people are in the verge of surviving. And 1900 is more interesting, where industrial revolution takes place, industrialization takes place, economic story takes place, then whole world is greened, that is settled by the human population. So this is how you can see the geographical distribution of the population. Okay, so talking about the geographical region, we can say that more than 3/4 of world population live in developing countries. Fewer than 1/4 living in developed countries. And the figure shows that the regional distribution of the world population as it existed in 2003 as it is projected for 2050. So by this pie diagram, you can see latest is there was in 2003, 60% population was Asia, 12% Europe, 14% Africa, North America 5%, Latin America 9%. And we have projected no change in Asia, slightly change, only 60 to 59, but European population is diminishing decreasing from 12 to 7%, and the increasing part is Africa, that is from 14 to 20%. So this is changing scenario of global population growth in the near future. So dear students, let's talk about the trend of world developed, less developed trends and more developed trends. Okay, and again when we have to talk about the population size and distribution in India, this last slide, we can say that the current population of India contributes to about 17% of global population. Also, all these people are universally distributed across 3.28 million square kilometer of our geographical area. So size, growth and distribution. Uttar Pradesh is the highest populated state in the India. About half of the country population is concentrated around only 5 major states in India, that is Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh. So through Rajasthan is the largest state in size, its population contributes to only 5.5% of the total population of India. So this data shows the distribution of the population in India also. And with this table, you can see census wise total population figure and decennial growth. You can see in 1901 only 2.238 million, in 1911 second census to 238 million plus 5% growth, 21 to 51.32 million, 2.5 crore minus 0.31 due to some pandemic reasons, 931 278.98 plus 11% most decennial growth, 41 318.66 million plus 14% again growth, very much growth rate, population growth rate in this decade. 51 361 again plus 31 plus 13%. 71 548 increasing and again highest 24.80 growth rate, and this maintains in 1988 census also, and then by that year in 1991 23.87 annual rate, and 2001 is plus 21, and again in 2011 the decadal growth is less than earlier, that is 17.70. So this is the story of Indian population growth rate as per census. So thank you.